At the wedding banquet, my husband had his arm around a female college classmate, flirting openly as if no one else was there. The friends and family who came to the wedding all looked at me in astonishment. I smiled and introduced them. This is the other woman in our family, my husband's little wife, my sister. Today was my wedding, the most important moment of my life. I had made it clear to Ethan beforehand that I didn't want his friends spraying any of that colorful string or foam. It's hard to clean up, flammable, and dangerous. Ethan had agreed, but after our ceremony, his group of friends still sprayed a ton of foam and colorful string all over my head and body. I shot an angry glare at Ethan, but he just grinned at his friends. I swallowed my anger. I didn't want to ruin my own wedding because of them. With the help of my bridesmaids, I went to the back to change into another gown. When I returned to the banquet hall, I saw my husband, Ethan, with his arm around a female college classmate, Amelia, laughing and talking animatedly about something. Ethan must have made a joke, because Amelia playfully punched him in the chest. Ethan caught her soft hand and, with a teasing smile, leaned closer to her ear. The friends who had been congratulating me fell awkwardly silent. The once lively scene became quiet. I smiled and led my friends over to Ethan and Amelia. When he saw me approach, Ethan didn't remove his arm from Amelia's shoulder. Instead, he calmly looked at my friends and greeted them politely. You must all be Amelia's friends, right? Welcome, welcome. As he spoke, he reached out to shake hands with one of my female friends. My friend looked uncomfortable, clearly not wanting to have physical contact with an unfamiliar man. I slapped Ethan's hand away and asked him, "This person in your arms is your friend, right?" Amelia, acting as if nothing was wrong, chimed in. "Sister, don't you remember me? We've had dinner together before." I feigned a look of sudden realization. Oh, I remember now. The one who always likes to call me sister. My husband's college classmate, right? I turned to my friends with a smile and introduced her. This is the other woman in our family, my husband's little wife, my sister. At my words, both Ethan's and Amelia's expressions instantly turned ugly. Ethan scolded me. "Chloe, what nonsense are you talking about?" Faced with an angry Ethan, I remained composed. What else? How should I introduce this young lady who is all over my husband at our wedding banquet? Who is the same age as me but insists on calling me sister? Amelia's eyes welled up with tears. Her voice choked with a sob. "I just thought that since I'm 2 months younger than you, sister, it was a sign of respect. Even if you don't like it, you don't have to insult me like that, do you?" Seeing the beauty in tears, Ethan's heart immediately went out to her. He stepped in front of Amelia and frowned at me. "It's our wedding day. Why are you causing a scene?" I looked at Ethan coldly. "You still remember it's our wedding day. What are you doing with your arm around another woman at our wedding banquet? What kind of scene are you causing?" Ethan looked nonchalant. "We're just old classmates catching up. You women are so petty and overthink things," I said sarcastically. "This is the first time I've seen catching up involves so much physical contact. I've really learned something today." My sarcastic tone clearly displeased Ethan. He said impatiently, "Everyone is watching. Can you be more mindful of your image and stop making trouble? Who are you trying to impress with all this sarcasm?" Seeing Ethan scold me, a smirk quickly appeared on Amelia's face before she smoothed it out. My friends couldn't take it anymore and started to reprimand Ethan on my behalf. "How is Chloe the one making trouble when you're all over another woman at your own wedding?" "Exactly. As a married man, don't you know how to keep a proper distance from other women? You're the one who's in the wrong. And you're blaming Chloe for not being considerate. You're a master at turning the tables." Ethan's face darkened as he listened to their accusations. "Are you here for a wedding or to cause trouble?" Amelia chimed in. "No wonder they say you shouldn't marry a man with too many female friends. With this kind of attitude, are you sisters trying to break up Ethan and Chloe?" Amelia then turned to Ethan with a coy smile. "I only make friends with men. They're straightforward and always have their friends' best interests at heart. They would never try to break up a couple." I ignored Amelia's green bitch like comments and just stared at Ethan. I must have been blind. "I can't believe that after all my choices, I ended up with someone like you. I don't think this wedding needs to continue." Ethan and I had agreed to have the wedding first and then get the marriage license. Now that the wedding was off, There was no need to get the license, but the property had to be divided clearly. I hadn't asked for much of a dowry for this wedding. Ethan and I each had our own apartment. My parents had bought me a 120 square meter apartment in the new district, Riverview Manor. It was close to where Ethan and I worked, and the surrounding amenities were excellent. We had planned to live in my apartment after we got married, as it was more convenient. Ethan's apartment was only 80 square meters and was in a remote location, but I hadn't raised any objections at the time. After all, when I chose Ethan, I knew his family was not well off. I had chosen him for his good looks and his ambition at work, and he had been very attentive when he was pursuing me, so I had agreed to be with him. Ethan had once casually mentioned that we should both sell our apartments and buy a larger one together. Now that I think about it, I'm glad I didn't agree. My apartment was worth over $22,000 per square meter, while his was only a little over $8,000. If we had bought a place together, it would have been a nightmare to divide the down payment and the mortgage. As for the car, which was part of my dowry and worth over $300,000, I would definitely be taking it with me. The gift money we received, I planned to return to my friends and family. I didn't care what Ethan did with his. Ethan looked at me as if I were a spoiled, unreasonable child. Friends and family have come from far and wide to celebrate our marriage, and now you're saying it's off. Do you think marriage is a game? Are you playing house? I was so angry at Ethan's shamelessness that I had to laugh. Who is treating marriage like a game? The wedding isn't even over, and you're already with another woman. If we had gotten a license, you would have been bringing all sorts of trash into my bed. Amelia, feeling implicated, was the first to express her displeasure. Sister, that's going too far. Ethan has worked so hard for this wedding, spending so much money and energy, and you just call it off. You're really letting him down. Ethan seemed pleased by Amelia's defense and reached out to hold her hand. I was about to be sick. Stop making a scene in front of me. Go and tell your parents that it's over for today. We can talk about the property division later. The commotion we were making was not small. Ethan's parents and my parents all gathered around. Ethan's mother tried to soothe me with a smile. Chloe, don't worry. We only recognize you as our daughter. In law, we won't recognize any other woman. I quickly cut her off. Please don't. Auntie, I'm not worthy. I think Ethan is a better match for this young lady who likes to call everyone sister. I wish you both 100 years of happiness. Seeing my determined attitude, Ethan finally started to panic. Chloe, you're just too petty. If you don't like my hospitable nature, I'll be more careful in the future. Okay, is it really necessary to go this far? I could see it clearly now. When Ethan was pursuing me, he had acted like the best man in the world. Now that we were married, he thought I was his for the taking and that he didn't have to pretend anymore. He had just revealed his true colors. He wasn't very smart, actually. Most men wait until after the woman has had a child to reveal their true selves. Women are soft-hearted, resilient, and have a strong sense of morality. Once they have a child, they will make do with anything. But I should be grateful that Ethan wasn't a better actor. It allowed me to cut my losses in time. I said flatly, I don't tolerate any sand in my eyes. My parents only had me, and they usually went along with whatever I wanted. Seeing how outrageous Ethan was today, they were also very angry. My father said directly, my family doesn't want a son-in-law who is so casual. A wedding that should have been a happy occasion ended in discord. After my parents and I had seen off our friends and family, I didn't stay at home. I dragged my exhausted body back to Riverview Manor. As I approached the bedroom, I heard some disgusting sounds. I kicked the bedroom door open. With a bang, the door slammed against the wall. The loud noise startled the two dogs on the bed. Ethan turned his head and saw me. He was flustered. He quickly wrapped Amelia in the blanket and scrambled to pick up his pants from the floor. Chloe, let me explain. I said nothing, just stood there with my arms crossed, watching Ethan's performance. But after a few eyes, he couldn't come up with anything. I looked at him calmly. Go on. Weren't you going to explain? By this time, Amelia had gotten dressed under the blanket. She walked over to Ethan, took his arm, and said to me with a determined look, I'm sorry, sister. I suddenly realized that I'm still in love with Ethan. I can't let him go. Today, when I saw him standing at the altar, I wished it were me standing next to him. Then she looked at Ethan with a look of deep affection. Before, I didn't see my own heart clearly. It wasn't until I saw you at the wedding that I realized I want to marry you. I want to be your bride. I cut her off impatiently. All right. I know you only like married men. Don't act out some soap opera in front of me. It's disgusting. I looked at Ethan sarcastically. Don't you even have the money to get a room? Are you that poor? You just barge into someone else's house to do this kind of thing. Are you a beggar? I held out my hand. And give me back my house key. Hearing this, Amelia immediately glared at me like a possessive dog. Sister, you're not Ethan's wife anymore. This house has nothing to do with you. You should be the one handing over the key. Right. I looked at Ethan with a smirk. Did you tell everyone that you bought this house? Is this how you trick women? Ethan looked at me with some embarrassment. Chloe, do we really have to be so clear? Cut between a husband and wife. Amelia looked at Ethan, a little disoriented, and asked, not wanting to give up. Ethan, did you gift the house you bought for your wedding to Chloe? Ethan didn't speak. I slowly punctured Amelia's fantasy. Now get out of my house. Ethan, having been exposed in front of Amelia, was furious. Chloe, do you know why our wedding ended up like this today? It's because you're too bossy. You always embarrass me in front of others. My friends were just having a little fun at the wedding, and you had to get angry. I'm a man. I need a gentle and virtuous wife, not a queen who orders me around all day. I ignored Ethan's ramblings and continued to emphasize. I said, get out. Ethan seemed to be lost in his own world. I don't think we need to get a license. I still like Amelia. Amelia looked at Ethan with a look of deep emotion. Ethan, damn it. Communicating with idiots is so exhausting. I immediately took out my phone. I'll count to 3. If you're not gone, I'm calling the police and reporting you for trespassing. Ethan, annoyed, pulled Amelia up beside him. Fine. You're really ruthless. Wait. I stopped the two of them as they were about to leave. Leave the key. And transfer me 1,000 for cleaning fees right now. Amelia looked at me indignantly. Are you robbing me? I answered calmly. Not as much as you, Miss Amelia. Barging into someone else's house and fooling around with a man. Your gangster style is something most people can't learn. This 1,000 is for cleaning up the mess you made in my house. I haven't even charged you for my emotional distress. Amelia wanted to say something more, but Ethan cut her off. I'll give it to you. But, Chloe, it's useless to try and attract me this way. After I've seen my own heart, no matter what tricks you pull, I won't love you. I shivered with goosebumps. I couldn't believe he was so narcissistic. I clicked my tongue. Don't worry. You really don't have to have that concern. Ethan left the key, transferred the 1,000, and then slammed the door as he left with Amelia. I looked at the mess in the room, feeling disgusted and nauseous. I called a cleaning service on my phone and then went back to my parents' house to stay. After the cleaning service had cleaned, and the things that needed to be thrown away were thrown away, I also changed the lock. The next day, Ethan sent me a long bill. It was for all the money he had spent on me during our relationship. It included everything from a cup of milk tea to the cost of our dates, the flowers and gifts he had given me when he was pursuing me, and the red envelopes he had given me on special occasions. I took a closer look and saw that he had even converted the lunches he had made for me during our relationship into cash and sent it over. All in all, it came to about 23,000. I had to laugh. We had been together for 6 months, and I had paid for most of our meals. When he gave me a gift, I would give him a more expensive one in return. The money I had spent on him far exceeded what he had spent on me, and he had the nerve to ask me for this money. I called Ethan and cursed him out. He was so self-righteous, saying he had the transfer records. And did I have any proof? It was only then that I remembered that sometimes Ethan would say he was treating me to dinner but would ask me to pay, and then he would transfer the money back to me. Most of the time, I wouldn't accept the transfer. I thought he might not have a lot of money, so I felt sorry for him and didn't want to take his money. But sometimes he would coax me into accepting some of the transfers, saying it was a red envelope for his girlfriend. I never thought there would be such a scheme. I was so angry. I shared a video on my TikTok account with the title, "Beware of some men's tricks." I shared in detail how men would ask you to pay the bill at dinner and then transfer the money to you via WeChat or Alipay, so that after you break up, he can use the transfer records to demand his money back. This is equivalent to you treating the guy to dinner during your relationship and then having to give him extra money. I never thought the video would go viral. Many netizens shared their own tips in the comments section on how to guard against men who try to scam you out of money. Some netizens even figured out from my previous videos that my boyfriend was Ethan. And then someone in the comments section asked if it was him. I just replied with a smiley face. Then someone found Ethan's account and sent him private messages, cursing him out. Ethan called me, furious, and asked what I was trying to do. I answered innocently. I was just trying to help netizens distinguish which men like to scam people out of money. Why are you so anxious? Ethan shouted at me in anger. I don't want the 23,000. Okay, just delete the video. I answered unwillingly. Do you know that I can make money from a viral video? Maybe someone will even ask me to do an ad. If you make me delete it, will you be responsible for the subsequent losses? Let me calculate. It could be over $1 million. Of course. Ethan couldn't give me $1 million. He didn't have $1 million. So in the end, he could only hang up after angrily saying, "Fine. You just wait." His mother's call came faster than his counterattack. On the phone, Ethan's mother earnestly persuaded me to forgive Ethan, saying she didn't like a casual woman like Amelia and only liked me. If Ethan dared to be with Amelia again, she would disown him. I just listened. What mother wouldn't side with her own son? I firmly rejected Ethan's mother's attempt to mediate. I'm sorry, Auntie. I can't be with someone who has betrayed me. Not long after I hung up on Ethan's mother, Ethan called. You don't have to go to my mother to mediate. I can't be with you. I like Amelia. I cut him off. I don't know what your mother told you, but please don't be so self-centered. Okay, even if you liked a pig, it has nothing to do with me. Please. You and your family. Don't call me again. Okay. Let's block each other and never see each other again. Unfortunately, I had blocked all of Ethan's and his family's contact information, but I unexpectedly saw him and Amelia at the Riverview Manor complex. When Amelia saw me, she acted like a victor, raising her left hand and waving it at me. Ethan and I are getting married. Sister, do you want to come to our wedding? I can have Ethan give you an invitation. I frowned. When will you stop claiming relatives you don't have? Who is your sister? I don't have such a shameless sister. Then I narrowed my eyes and looked at her ring. Is that a diamond ring? Where's the diamond? You'd need a magnifying glass to see it, wouldn't you? Amelia's face turned red. A flash of embarrassment crossed Ethan's face. Then he became angry. Chloe, don't stir up trouble. What good does it do you to provoke my fiancé? You're not still in love with me, are you? I spat at him. Stop flattering yourself. I was about to say, you two rented an apartment in our complex. Are you still in love with me? Why do you two dogs like me so much? Can you live without me? Seeing this pair of scumbags getting angry at me made me happy. The next day after work, when I saw Ethan and Amelia again, they had a poodle with them. My body immediately stiffened. I am terrified of dogs. I was bitten by a dog as a child, and it left me with a psychological scar. Ethan knew this. He was doing it on purpose. The moment she saw me, Amelia let go of the leash. The little dog, only a few months old, was very friendly and immediately ran towards me. I was so scared I couldn't move. Seeing my pale face and the cold sweat beading on my forehead, Amelia finally pretended to come over and pull the dog away. Oh, I'm so sorry. My hand slipped. I didn't have a good grip on the leash. Ethan stood by, smiling triumphantly. Fine. You want to play games? I'm game. That night, I accidentally posted a 3-second video in the residence group chat. It was of Ethan and Amelia's good deed in my bedroom. You couldn't see their faces, but you could see their movements for a moment. About 30 seconds later, I quickly deleted it and posted a message. Sorry, my hand slipped. But everyone, be careful. My house was broken into by a shameless couple who did this kind of thing in my bedroom. Everyone, please be careful. I believe that in that short half-minute, many of the residents who were on their phones saw it. Not long after, an unfamiliar number called. I answered it cheerfully. Of course, it was Ethan. After I had blocked him, he could only find other phones to call me. On the other end of the line, Ethan shouted at me in anger. What are you trying to do? That's illegal. You secretly filmed us and posted it in the group. I answered in a good mood. Oh, you scared me. But don't slander me. I told you I was installing a camera in the bedroom, and you agreed. At that time, when we were about to get married, I had seen a video on TikTok that said some people would pretend to be relatives and sneak into the bridal suite to steal the gift money. So I had suggested that we install a camera in the bedroom before the wedding, so that if there was a thief, we would have video evidence to report to the police. After the wedding, we could move the camera to the front door for security. Come to think of it, Ethan had installed the camera himself. Perhaps at that time, his brain was controlled by his lower body, and he had forgotten about it, leaving me with this disgusting but useful video. I continued cheerfully, and I just accidentally posted it in the group. I deleted it right away, didn't I? You can't slander me. Ethan tried his best to suppress his anger. You're a woman too. You know how devastating this kind of video can be for a woman. Can you please stop provoking Amelia? She's pregnant, and her emotions are not very stable. I sneered. Pregnant? You motherfucker. Were you with her before our wedding? You're a real piece of work. You betrayed me, and now you dare to ask me to be considerate of the other woman. Ethan gave a bitter laugh. Can we not target each other like this? Let's just have a clean break. Okay. He's a real master at turning the tables. Am I the one who doesn't want a clean break? You tell me who started it. You two came to my house to disgust me. You were already thinking about how to scam me out of money when we were dating. And you moved into my complex and let your dog scare me. Who is the one who doesn't want a clean break? I hung up on Ethan, not wanting to listen to his disgusting words anymore. At this time, someone in the residence group chat had already started to say they knew who I was talking about, and that the story behind it was very exciting. Then some of the gossip mongers urged him to hurry up and tell. Then someone revealed that the woman was a homewrecker and had gotten together with the man at the wedding. This pair of dogs had even gone to the bride's house to fool around, being very arrogant. Everyone condemned this pair of scumbags. Then someone, in the chaos, revealed that this pair of dogs was now in our complex. Then someone said, then they must be in our residence group chat. The group chat instantly fell silent. I burst out laughing. I wonder how they felt reading other people curse them in the group chat. Ethan and Amelia's counterattack came quickly. Ethan's TikTok account was still under constant attack. Today, he posted a video. In the video, he accused me of twisting the truth, saying that when we went on dates, I would always go to high-end restaurants and order expensive dishes. Even for milk tea, I would have to go to expensive places like Starbucks, order a bunch of pastries just to take photos for my social media, and barely eat any of it, being very wasteful. Once, I had even ordered a $2,000 meal at a Western restaurant. He said he had later asked me to pay to try and change my wasteful habits, but he had never intended for me to actually pay, so he would transfer the money back to me afterwards. It was not like I had said that he was trying to scam me out of money. In the video, he also hinted that not only was I a spendthrift, but I also flirted with many other men, asking them to treat me. One time, a guy had seen how much I had ordered at Starbucks and didn't want to pay, so he had used the excuse of going to the restroom and had run off. In the end, I had to call him to pay the bill. He said he couldn't stand my lying and my habit of tricking men into buying me things, treating them like wallets. So he had chosen to break up with me. The netizens who didn't know the truth first attacked me. But soon, some netizens found a loophole in Ethan's story. Starbucks requires you to pay first. So how could you eat first and then pay? Then someone mocked him for needing to have some basis for his lies. I, on the other hand, directly posted the complaint I had filed against Ethan for slander online, with the caption, "The innocent are innocent." Seeing that I was serious, Ethan got scared and called me from an unfamiliar number. On the other end of the line, Ethan apologized in a low voice. That video wasn't about you. It was about my ex-girlfriend. If you feel it has affected you, I'll delete it. Okay. We were in a relationship. After all, there's no need to make things so tense. I sneered. I can withdraw the lawsuit, as long as you post a video publicly apologizing to me, admitting that your last video was a lie, and also admitting that you and Amelia were together before the wedding, and that you betrayed me. Ethan gritted his teeth. Don't push it. I answered indifferently. Whatever. If you don't post it, you can just wait for the court summons. 2 days later, I received the summons from Ethan. He called me again. Chloe, you should always leave a way out. You might need my help in the future. I was lying on the sofa, swinging my feet, In a good mood. Don't worry. Even if I'm desperate, I won't come to you for help. Have you considered it? You don't have much time left. After a long pause, Ethan forced out 4 words. I agree. In the afternoon, after seeing the video Ethan had posted, I kept my promise and withdrew the lawsuit. But the impact of the video was bigger than I had expected. Both Ethan's and Amelia's companies saw the video. And with the economic downturn this year, the companies used their immoral behavior as a reason to fire them both. Without a job and without the money to continue renting, Ethan moved out of Riverview Manor. The thought of not having to see them after work made the air in the complex feel fresher. I heard that Ethan had taken Amelia back to his parents' house to live off them. I don't know how long they could do that, but that was none of my business. Next time, I would have to be more careful and take my time. After all, you can't rush into love.